every night. While most people go to bed with their minds full of noise, worries, and screens, there is a quiet routine that the great Stoics practiced for centuries. Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus discovered that the hours before sleep are the most powerful of the entire day, not for working more, but for ordering the soul. What you do in those final minutes decides how you rest, how you wake, and, repeated over the years, who you become. In this video, you will discover the 7 things a Stoic does every night before sleep. 7 simple habits that cost no money and no extra time, yet can transform your peace of mind, your sleep, and the way you live. You will learn to review your day without punishing yourself, to release what you cannot control, to give thanks for real, to correct your failings, to remember what matters, to feed your mind, and to forgive before you close your eyes. None of these habits is complicated, but together they form one of the wisest routines ever written. If you apply them, you will stop dragging the weight of the day all the way to your pillow and begin to sleep like someone who is at peace with himself. So turn off the distractions, breathe deeply, and prepare your mind, because these 7 habits begin right now. The first nightly habit of a Stoic is to review the day that has just ended, but without punishing themselves harshly. Seneca described it with a simple image. Every night, before sleep, he would summon his own mind before a court and ask what he had done that day, where he had gone wrong, and what he had done well. He did not do this to torment himself or to drown in guilt. He did it like a friend who calmly examines another friend, seeking to understand rather than to condemn. That is the key difference. Most people, when they think about their day as they climb into bed, only remember what went wrong, and they let that list grow until it steals their sleep. The Stoic, instead, observes the whole day with serene honesty. He acknowledges his wins without vanity and his failures without drama. He turns each night into a small lesson rather than a cruel trial. Over time, this simple exercise teaches you to see yourself clearly. You stop lying to yourself about who you are, and you begin to correct yourself with patience. The mind that reviews itself each night learns faster than the one that lives distracted. Tonight, before you sleep, spend just 3 minutes reviewing your day in silence. Ask what you did well, where you failed, and what you learned. Do not judge yourself like an enemy, but like a kind teacher. You will see how, little by little, your days begin to improve simply because you are finally looking at them for real. The second nightly habit of a Stoic is to let go of everything that is not within their power to control. Epictetus taught the most liberating idea in all of philosophy. There are things that depend on you and things that do not depend on you. Your opinions, your decisions, and your efforts are within your power. The outcome, what others think, the weather, the past, and almost everything that happens outside of you, is not. Carrying worries to bed about things you cannot change is like trying to sleep while hugging an enormous stone. That is why the Stoic, before closing his eyes, makes a mental act of surrender. He reviews what troubles him and calmly separates what he can do tomorrow from what escapes his will. The first he keeps as a task. The second he releases. Not because he does not care, but because he knows that clinging to it only steals his peace without changing anything. That surrender is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is recognizing the limits of your power and resting within them. When you stop fighting against the inevitable, your mind can finally grow quiet. Tonight, before you sleep, write down or think of one single thing that worries you. Ask honestly whether it is in your hands to change it. If it is, decide one first step for tomorrow. If it is not, imagine that you open your hands and let it drift away like an ember fading in the air. Sleep light, without carrying stones that were never yours to begin with. The third nightly habit of a Stoic is to practice gratitude for what they already have. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man of his time, filled his private pages with thanks. He gave thanks for his teachers, for his family, for his health, and even for the hardships that had made him stronger. He did not wait to have everything before feeling fortunate. He understood something that many forget. Happiness does not arrive when you get more, but when you appreciate what is already in front of you. The Stoic knows that the human mind grows used to everything with astonishing speed. What you craved yesterday, today you take for granted. Gratitude is the antidote to that blindness. It is training your eyes to see again the value in the ordinary. The roof above you, clean water, the people who love you, the simple fact of breathing. When you end the day counting what you have instead of what you lack, your heart settles and sleep comes sweeter. Complaint agitates, gratitude calms. Tonight, before you sleep, Name in silence 3 specific things from this day for which you are grateful. It does not count to repeat the usual ones automatically. Find 3 that are real and particular to today, however small. A conversation, a meal, a moment of quiet. Truly feel each one before you close your eyes. You will see how you fall asleep richer than you ever believed yourself to be. The 4th nightly habit of a Stoic is to honestly review where they failed and decide how to improve the next day. This step goes beyond a simple review. Here the Stoic not only observes, he also plans. Seneca said that no day is lost if it has at least taught you something. So at the end of the day, he would identify one specific failing and ask himself how to avoid it tomorrow. Perhaps he had let anger carry him away. Perhaps he had spoken too much. Perhaps he had wasted time on empty things. Instead of sinking, he turned that error into a small correction for the next day. This way, progress was not a huge, exhausting leap, but a tiny improvement repeated every night. That is the true Stoic discipline. Not demanding perfection all at once, but gaining a single degree of virtue each day. A man who corrects one small flaw every night becomes, after a year, an almost different person. The problem for most people is not that they fail, but that they repeat the same failure 1,000 times without ever looking at it directly. Tonight, before you sleep, choose one single failing from today. Not 10, just one. Calmly ask what caused it and what you will do differently tomorrow when the same situation appears again. Picture in detail how you will respond better. That small promise, repeated night after night, is the surest path that exists to slowly becoming the person you want to be. The 5th nightly habit of a Stoic is to remember, with serenity, that their life is limited. The ancients called it memento mori, remember that you will die. It may sound dark, but for the Stoic it is exactly the opposite. It is what gives flavor and urgency to every day. Marcus Aurelius would tell himself that he could leave life at any moment, and that he should act and think accordingly. He did not do this to torment himself, but to wake up. When you remember that time is running out, you stop wasting it on grudges, on complaints, and on arguments that will not matter tomorrow. Night is the perfect moment for this gentle reflection. The day dies just as a whole day of your life has just gone forever. It will not return. That awareness should not frighten you. It should focus you. If you knew you had only a few sunsets left, you would waste less time angry and make more of the embraces, the kind words, and the small, honest pleasures. The Stoic does not fear death. He uses it as a compass. It reminds him of what truly matters and discards what does not. Tonight, before you sleep, think calmly that this day, now ending, will never return. Ask whether you lived it in line with what you truly value. And promise that tomorrow, knowing your time is precious and finite, you will treat people better and let the trivial things pass. Remembering your end is, in truth, the most intense way of learning how to live. The 6th nightly habit of a Stoic is to feed the mind with a single wise idea before sleep. The Stoics were passionate readers, but they did not devour entire books out of vanity. Seneca advised something different and profound. Keep each day a single thought that you can chew on slowly. It is better to truly meditate on one powerful sentence than to race through 100 pages you will forget at once. Night is the ideal moment for this, because the last thing that enters your mind before sleep tends to stay and to work in silence while you rest. If the last thing you see is arguments, bad news, and screens that agitate, your mind lies down restless. But if the last thing you receive is a serene truth, a line from a philosopher, an ancient proverb, or an idea that orders you within, you fall asleep with that light still burning. The Stoic carefully chooses the last food of his day, just as he watches what he eats. He knows that the mind, like the body, is shaped by what it consumes each day. A single good idea, repeated over many nights, ends up changing the way you think. Tonight, before you sleep, instead of staring at your phone until you collapse, read one single sentence worth reading. It can be from Marcus Aurelius, from Seneca, or any truth that makes you better. Read it slowly, twice, and let it settle in your head as you close your eyes. Let that idea, and not the noise of the world, be the last thing that keeps you company. The 7th nightly habit of a Stoic is to go to bed with a calm conscience, having forgiven and released all resentment. The review, the gratitude, and the reflection are worthless if you climb into bed with a chest full of bitterness. The Stoic knows that the hatred you carry toward others does not punish them, it poisons you. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each morning that he would meet ungrateful, arrogant, and dishonest people, and he decided in advance not to let them disturb his peace. At night, he closed that circle by forgiving, not because others always deserved forgiveness, but because he deserved to rest. Holding a grudge before sleep is drinking poison and hoping the other person suffers. The Stoic prefers to let go. He lets go of a colleague's offense, a stranger's harsh word, even the mistakes he made himself during the day. He forgives himself with the same calm with which he forgives others, because he knows he is human and that tomorrow he will try again. Only this way does the mind stay clean and the body truly rest. Peace is not the absence of problems. It is the decision not to take them to bed with you. Tonight, before you sleep, think whether you hold anger toward anyone, including yourself. Breathe deeply and choose to release it, not for the other person, but for your own rest. Say silently that for today you let it go. Close your eyes light, owing nothing to anyone and with no war inside. Sleep in peace, because you have done what was in your hands, and that is always enough. Now you know the 7 things a Stoic does every night. Review the day without harshness. Release what you cannot control. Give thanks. Correct one failing. Remember your end. Read one truth. And forgive before sleep. They seem few, but together they hold the power to change your entire life. Do not try to do them all at once this very night, because Stoic wisdom is not about enormous leaps, but about small, steady steps. Choose only one habit, the one that touched you most, and practice it tonight before you sleep. Tomorrow again, and the next night too. Let it become as natural as breathing, and then add the second. This way, night after night, without rush but without pause, you will become a calmer, stronger person, more in command of yourself. Remember that philosophy is not read, it is lived. If this video gave you something, hit like and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom every night. May you sleep in peace.